Good afternoon, everybody. Pigskin Pete here. Happy Tuesday to everybody. I will be doing a college football playoff ranking show live tonight. Keep an eye out for that. But this show today, this video, not show, it's not live, has more to do with what's in the news. A lot of times, especially early on YouTube, I would just see something that triggered me, and I would turn on the camera phone and make a video about it. And so this is a sort of a throwback situation to that. Baker Mayfield, all over the news, all over ESPN, all over Fox Sports. Every single talk show is talking about it. These comments that he made about Hugh Jackson after playing the Bengals this past weekend. And I have some definite feelings on this. I want to go ahead and say right now, write it down. Tattoo it on your forehead if you have to. But you already know the rest. If you tattoo it on your forehead, make sure you tattoo it backwards so when you look in the mirror, it reads correctly. Now, I gave Baker Mayfield a hard time his last couple of years at Oklahoma. Particularly his last year, because that's when I was on YouTube last year. Went on YouTube his junior year. I gave Oklahoma a hard time because of their defense, not because of Baker Mayfield. I have never, ever, on this channel or in real life, ever not given Baker Mayfield his respect as a quarterback. As a matter of fact, I did the opposite. I gave him a ton of respect. And Baker Mayfield, while everybody was saying coming out of college, this guy's not an NFL quarterback, he's undersized, his game won't translate to the NFL, I was on the Baker Mayfield bandwagon. And I still am. As a matter of fact, Baker Mayfield is quickly becoming my favorite NFL player. Behind Deshaun Watson, of course. There's another one. Now you can say, oh, of course you just defended Deshaun Watson, Pete. You're a Clemson fan. Every Clemson fan defended Deshaun Watson. No. I have not defended every single elite Clemson player that's come out of college in the NFL and said they're going to be an elite player. But my eyes don't lie. You can say, Pete, you've never played football at a high level. You don't know anything about football. Well, all those same people that were typing that stuff to me for the past year, they're all gone now. They've all disappeared. Where you at now? I told you Deshaun Watson was going to be an elite player in the NFL. I told you he would not be Vince Young 2.0. I told you Baker Mayfield was not going to be a bust. I told you he was the best quarterback in this draft. And Cleveland made the right move by drafting him. But this is not about on the field playing ability. This is not about how great Baker Mayfield is a passer, how accurate he is, how smart he is playing the position. And the same goes for Deshaun Watson. This is not about that. I don't have the leg to stand on since I didn't play college football. And since I didn't play NFL football. Right? According to you trolls out there. I don't know what I'm talking about. This is about heart. This is about not being a politically correct pussy in this age of football and sports and media. I'm not going to get into politics on here. That's not what this show's about. But I'm almost 40 years old. I'm 38 years old. When I grew up as a massive sports fan, I was a huge NBA fan when I was a kid. NFL fan, college football fan, golf fan. The world has changed so much since I was a kid in the 80s. even the 90s. Hell, you could even extend that to the early 2000s if you want to. But let's say the past 15 years. The world has changed so drastically in the world of sports that you cannot be a fiery competitor anymore without getting criticized for it. And I got to tell you something. There's something to be said for being a nice guy, a great guy, like Deshaun Watson. I mean, this guy doesn't have an enemy in the world. But that's who he is. He's a genuine person, a genuine soul. And you got to respect that. But just because Deshaun Watson is that way, does that mean that Baker Mayfield has to be that way? No, of course it doesn't. There's something about Baker Mayfield that makes me tick as a sports fan, as an 80s kid. If you were alive in the 80s, whether you were a kid or a teenager or whatever in the 90s, can you ever imagine in your mind seeing Larry Bird and Michael Jordan hanging out in Miami on the weekends and the off season, drinking tequila on a boat? No! They weren't friends. They might have respected each other, but they damn sure were not friends. The hate for your rivals has gone out of sports. And it's a sad, sad situation. It used to be celebrated. Now you're looked down upon. Now you're an asshole if you don't want nothing to do with your rivals in sports. And it's the only sort of medium that we accept this in. Listen, if you're a landscaper, yeah, you might be friends with other landscapers. But the guy that's in the same town as you, trying to take your clients and trying to take money out of your pocket, are you best friends with him? Of course not. That's crazy. And Baker Mayfield is doing something right now that's a throwback to my era as a kid. And I love it. I love it. This guy is being criticized because Hugh Jackson, the loser coach. Oh, Pete, how could you call Hugh Jackson a loser? He's a professional football coach. You're just some guy in his football room making a video. You don't know crap about football compared to Hugh Jackson. Well, guess what? Nobody's paying me millions of dollars for my opinion on anything, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. Hugh Jackson was a loser. Is he a loser in life? No. Is he a great guy? I'm sure he is. He's a loser in football. They paid this guy millions of dollars to lose. And when he gets fired, he goes off to the Bengals in the same division as Cleveland. Somebody they play twice a year. And Baker Mayfield, after the game, after beating the Bengals and Hugh Jackson, says, I didn't want to talk to him after the game. This guy said, he drafted me and said, I want you to play for me. I want you to play for us. And then he runs off as soon as he gets fired and gets hired for $200,000 a year, which is peanuts compared to what he's being paid by Cleveland. Excuse me. And I don't want to talk to him. Oh, Baker Mayfield. He's a spoiled brat. Do you expect this guy not to accept a job? What a jerk. What a petulant punk Baker Mayfield is for saying stuff like that. Really? Really? Hugh Jackson's got more money than God? can't win a football game, goes in the same division, and all of a sudden Baker Mayfield doesn't like it, and that's a problem with you people? Millennial punk pussies is what you are. You think Michael Jordan would have liked that? Do you think Magic Johnson would have liked that? Of course they wouldn't. They were competitors. It's not personal. I'm sure that Baker Mayfield likes Hugh Jackson and vice versa. But if you are a Bengals coach and I'm a Browns quarterback, you are my enemy. When did we get away from that in sports? Everybody's so lovey-dovey nowadays. It's sickening. Oh, did you expect Hugh Jackson not to take a job? Yeah, fine, take the job. But don't expect criticism from your quarterback that you almost ran into the ground when you were in Cleveland. Whenever you leave and take a job with a rival team. I applaud Baker Mayfield. And everybody coming out and saying, oh, Baker Mayfield, would you not take a job if you got fired by Cleveland? Of course he would. Oh, Baker Mayfield, he transferred from Texas Tech to Oklahoma. What a hypocrite. Baker Mayfield didn't transfer because he wanted to transfer. Baker Mayfield was not offered a scholarship at Texas Tech, so he went to a school that was a winner. And guess what? Baker Mayfield got plenty of criticism from Texas Tech fans at the time. Maybe deservedly so, maybe not. But Baker Mayfield stuck up the middle finger and said, this mediocre football program, Texas Tech, won't offer me a scholarship. I'm about to go to a powerhouse and shove it up your ass. How about if you're on the side of Hugh Jackson right now? How about Hugh Jackson go to the Bengals team and shove it up Baker Mayfield's ass? No! He can't do that, can he? You want to know why? Because Baker Mayfield is a better football player than Hugh Jackson will ever be a coach. Period. End of story. It's a killer be killed game, people. And I love it. I love Baker Mayfield for this move. Now, I'm a Carolina Panthers fan. Always have been, always will be. And I'm a Cam Newton apologist. Always have been, always will be. I think this guy gets way more criticism than he deserves. I think he's a great elite quarterback, one of the top 10 in the NFL since he's been there. The problems with the Carolina Panthers are not Cam Newton. There's a hell of a lot more blame to go around than Cam Newton, starting with the coaching staff. But that's besides the point. My point here is, outside of Cam Newton or Deshaun Watson, if those two guys were not on the table, and I could pick one single quarterback to lead my Carolina Panthers as a franchise, I would pick Baker Mayfield, and I'd pick him in a heartbeat. Because this guy's not a punk pussy like the rest of these people all over sports. It's not just football. I love this guy. And God bless Oklahoma fans. I realize you guys have been putting up with this crap about Baker Mayfield the same way I've been putting up with the same kind of crap about Deshaun Watson. The only difference is Baker Mayfield has been somewhat controversial in his playing career. Deshaun Watson's a great, he's not a controversial guy. He's just a baller. I mean, the guy just answers everything on the field. But that doesn't mean just because Baker Mayfield and Deshaun Watson are different people, they're different personalities, that one is different from the other. They're both amazing. They're both underdogs. They're both underappreciated. And so I salute you. Where's the camera at? Baker Mayfield, I salute you, sir. And no matter what happens for the rest of your football career, I am a fan, sir. And the rest of you can go to hell about it. Bunch of punks. Bunch of softies. Bunch of millennials. Pigskin Pete checking out.